So, if you're curious what my accounts look like after 1,000 hours plus in Fresh Start Worlds, then this is the video for you. I'll be introducing you to the accounts, which some of you might already know, and then I will be going into how much money I made overall. And then at the end of this, I also have 1 million Christmas paper to use, and I will be showing you if I get anything from that. Enjoy! And coming in first is my level 3. IE Urns was originally created to craft some urns to be used for other skills. Started dragging it along to Dungeoneering to do 5-1 Dungeoneering for faster XP. Did unlock Invention on it, but it finished with 99 Divination, doing Dunge Div, and 120 Dungeoneering. Now for my next account, let me introduce you to my mining account. This account was originally created to do a bunch of mining and smithing at the start of Fresh Start Worlds. It finished at a really good spot with an incredibly high total level, max combat level, and is going to be extraordinarily useful account. It has max combat stats, 99 Slayer, high archaeology for PVM relics, has stats leveled up for Croesus, has Animate Dead unlocked, overloads, Prif, and 120 mining. It locked in the Halo for mining, so that's what the goal was originally, and then it migrated into a PVM account. What you're seeing on screen right now is the rest of its bank. Everything else has been wiped from it. It has full crit bloom, well, top and body, the main important part, and Cinderbane gloves, Inquisitor staff, and then it has pretty good melee gear and a shield, but it's got kind of like the baseline of everything that I need for it going forward. Its goal is going to be AFKing some money-making methods. And I just want to highlight the use of Scavenging 4, so you can see right now what I've gotten from that so far. Some pretty big highlights from this is the 12 Nox components. That's worth quite a bit. That saves me a whole Nox weapon being disassembled, so that's great. Now for my next account, this one's pretty big as well, sitting at 13.99s and 120 Dunge. This is very similar to the last account. Some bigger highlights here is it has 200 mil Dungeoneering. I do want to highlight a few differences. So this one does have 99 Div, but doesn't have 99 Smithing, but quest-wise, very similar accounts. Looking at the remainder of its bank, this one's a little bit more spoiled than the last account, so it's even more tanky boy. It's got pretty good perks on its gear. I won't be reviewing those, but it does have a Crit Bloom helm over the other one and a Decimation bow. Aside from that, they're very similar in upgrades, but the last one was about 2 bill and this one's about 2.6 bill. Main difference is the Decimation and the Crit Bloom helm. And loot from Scavenging 4 on this account looks something like this. It had Scavenging 3 for a very long time. I didn't get the upgrade for Scavenging 4 quite as early, but either way this account is not as lucky as the last for sure. And for my last account, sitting at 7 120s, 14.99s is my main on Fresh Start Worlds. This is my main account. It's the account I spent the most amount of time on and prioritized the highest. This account finished rank 23 in Dungeoneering. It has 7 120s unlocked, and unlike the other accounts, this one has curses unlocked. The other accounts have the level for it, but haven't done the quest for it. Just a really good account. It got 3 halos, 1 for Herbler, 1 for summoning, and 1 for dungeoneering. So fantastic account, one I prioritized above everything else. Now this account's armor isn't worth quite as much as my other accounts, as it wasn't doing as much PVM and I focused on melee when I was using it. I did unlock a Reaver's Ring really early on, and it has Luck of the Dwarves. All of my accounts have Grace of the Elves unlocked, so that's also something else to note. Now in the next screenshot, you're going to see the bigger value items that this account has, which are the following. We have the obvious troll of 3 blueberry specials on Fresh Start World. If you don't know what that is, it means I had 3 rolls to get an HSR and I missed. I have 5 Challenger Halos worth 1.2 bill each, 5 Halos of Returning at 250 mil each, and 614 million shards, which is worth quite a bit. I'd say like 70 or 80% of those shards are from selling capes and other Fresh Start Worlds items, and that brings the total value of this account to just about 23 bill on just this account. This account also had pretty good scavenging for procs. So you have the Nox components and the Illajunkin components, both worth quite a bit. So really, really lucky on this account. So getting into the final stats. So I gained about 2.1 billion total XP, achieving 40 99s and 10 120s across all my accounts. I did around 700 mil plus total Dungeoneering XP, which is crazy. Between all my accounts is around 3,000 plus hours, and I did about 400 plus quest points. Main highlights here is Plague's End 3 times, Desert Treasure 3 times, Battle of the Monolith 3 times, and City of Sintistan 3 times. Now for the good stuff. I made around 27.5 bill. 15 bill from selling capes and other Fresh Start Worlds items. I have about 6 bill worth of halos, and the rest from just luck and playing the game. As I did wilderness events on cooldown as much as I could, specifically the special ones. And I did get 2 Oroid Eyes. I got 2 Dark Onyx Cores. And I did a lot of shit just to make money in the game. I also did some selling of floors, which added up to probably around 500 mil. But yeah, so a lot more than what I thought I was originally going to make. So what is next? That is the question. In the background, you're going to see a bunch of accounts opening about 1 million Christmas wrapper worth of presents while I do a voiceover. So alright, so let's go over my next steps. So all these accounts are at a really, really good spot aside from the level 3. The level 3 I will probably no longer be using. I'm just going to let its membership wear off. And then my mains, or my other accounts, are the ones that have combat levels. I'm going to use these as money-making alts. I'm going to find some AFK things. An example could be Vindicta, and get these accounts AFKing that. Long-term goals for these accounts are to use them in 10-hour loot videos, similar to my Zamrock videos if you've seen those before, but other bosses, testing out money-making methods in general. It allows me to test out multiple different things at the exact same time, so that's my plan with those accounts. Now for a little ramble on Fresh Start Worlds in general. So my overall experience with this it is by far, I think, my favorite experience I've ever had on RuneScape, period. It's tough though, because leagues on Old School is, I think, better enjoyment per time as it's shorter. Where Fresh Start Worlds, I spent an absurd amount of time compared to Old School leagues, because Fresh Start Worlds goes on for a lot longer. But these accounts do carry over. Now on that note, should this event be ran back? I don't think it should be ran back every single year. I think there is a good balance of doing it every once in a while, like once every 2 years. And I think the direction RuneScape 3 should create or go towards is 1 year do a Leagues-esque type event, because we haven't had one of those yet, and I think those would be great. And then do one event or 1 year where we do a Fresh Start Worlds. I don't think I'll ever do Fresh Start Worlds again. I have everything that I kind of wanted. I kind of wanted just extra accounts to play around with, and that's exactly what I have. The halos and stuff are kind of nice and cool to go with. The competitive side of it was something I really enjoyed. But I don't see myself having the time of day to put as many hours as I did this time. And top 100's very hard. Everyone's like, this is only 100 people for each skill. Like, it's very hard. Compared that to old school leagues where it's like the top 1%, which I think is like 1,000 to 2,000 players, which is a huge difference, and a lot more enjoyable. Where this, you had to do skills and quests that you maybe didn't want to do. Where old school leagues, you could skip quests and stuff like that. Given those accounts don't transfer, so I think there's a balance there. But I still enjoyed, I enjoyed this more than both the old school leagues that I've done, but not by a huge margin. And if I was a more casual player that already had a main account and wasn't looking for alts, I think I'd enjoy old school leagues a lot more. Because one, you don't have to create a new account, and two, it's a fresh server. Accelerated rates, not like a lot more, just a lot more fun. This one still would be slightly balanced because the accounts were migrating to the main game, but in leagues there's no worry about that, so you can have more fun things. On the competitive side, I did feel this was fairly competitive for what I was doing, which was dungeoneering. The problem with anything competitive and having free trade is there's gonna be some skills where people ult, and it's if you ult you win, if you don't ult you lose. Dungeoneering kind of had that, kind of didn't. I'm someone that did use an ult for it specifically, but I actually don't feel it put me as that big of an advantage. What it did allow me to do is secure multiple halos for dungeoneering a lot easier. But if you look at like rank 2 in dungeoneering, he didn't use ults and he soloed like almost all of it. So doing it in a bigger group or with an ult, I don't think is as big of a benefit as what people think. But I did it mainly because I just wanted extra accounts that had the dungeoneering levels for future use. But overall, I'd say Fresh Start Worlds was pretty good. It had a lot of issues, specifically towards the start. And then after the competitive phase ended, it was, I don't know, a lot less rewarding to do. I saw lots of people spend a lot of money on Treasure Hunter and stuff like that, which each their own. They're allowed to do that, obviously. Wasn't something I was after, but it's also nice skipping a shitload of levels with Treasure Hunter. It made quests feel super rewarding to do for Treasure Hunter keys, plus the halos also rewarded kind of doing those like niche things that you probably wouldn't normally do, such as quests or going for rune score and stuff like that. But overall, really good experience. Jagex needs to do a little bit more next time and maybe look into leagues. But aside from that, I think that's everything. Bye.